Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Vasugaru. Good evening, Ratan Singh. Good evening, Chitti Venkatesh. This is Chitti Venkatesh. వాసు గారు, మీరు ఎక్కడ వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారా? మీరు
ఎస్ సార్, వర్క్ చేస్తున్నాను.
ఏ కంపెనీ అండి? ఎక్కడ?
రామగుండం ఫెర్టిలైజర్స్ అండ్ కెమికల్స్ లిమిటెడ్.
ఓకే ఓకే. యాజ్ ఏ ప్రొడక్షన్ ఆర్ యూర్ ఇన్ సేఫ్టీ?
ఎస్ సార్, ప్రొడక్షన్ సార్. ఐ యామ్ ఇన్ కెమికల్ ఇంజనీర్.
ఓకే. మణికంఠ శ్రీనివాస్ ముని, గుడ్ మార్నింగ్, గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్.
సార్, నిన్న ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్ క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు కదా సార్, ప్రీవియస్ క్వశ్చన్. అది పంపిస్తే సెండ్ చేస్తా అని చెప్పారు సార్.
అది సెండ్ చేయలేదా మీకు? నేను చెప్తాను ఒకసారి.
సార్,
ఈరోజు పెండింగ్ ఉంది కదా, మనము డిస్కస్ చేద్దాము. ఫస్ట్ సెషన్ లో మనము పెండింగ్ రిమైనింగ్ డిస్కస్ చేసి, సెకండ్ సెషన్ లో మనము వర్క్ అట్ హైట్ లేదంటే మెకానికల్ హ్యాండ్లింగ్ డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం ఈరోజు. Okay, we'll start the session. మనం ఎక్కడ దాకా డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నాము? ఆల్మోస్ట్ మెన్షన్ హెల్త్ అండ్ సేఫ్టీ మేనేజ్మెంట్. ఈ క్వశ్చన్ అయిపోయిందా? డిస్కస్ చేసాము ఇది. ఇదంతా అయిపోయింది. Okay, good evening once again. Today we'll continue with our 101 important questions. Then later we'll discuss mechanical material handling. Today is supposed to be work at height actually. Due to some delay, we will continue with the mechanical material handling. In next week, we'll discuss about work at height. Okay. Yeah. Explain the global warming and their effects. Previously, we have seen what is meant by global warming. Global warming means the increasing of, Earth's surface temperature due to emissions of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide and other gases, which is affecting ozone layer. And here we'll see list of repeat some basic facts of global warming. Global warming is caused by the emissions of greenhouse gases. 70% of totally emitted greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide. Therefore, CO2 emissions are most important cause of global warming. Because of this CO2, the globe is warming, means it is getting heated up year by year. CO2 is created by the burning fossil fuels, oil, natural gas, and diesel. The emissions of CO2 has been dramatically increased within the 50 years, which means last 50 years, the emission of CO2 has been drastically increased. The speed of increasing of CO2 emissions are more since last 50 years. According to the recent investigations, unmanageable catastrophic changes in the in the environment are expected to take place in global temperature increase by 22 to 3.6 Fahrenheit. If you see in Australia, last time they have met with an forest fire, and even they had a drastical change in their atmosphere as well due to global warming. Okay, and explain about the following terms. IS 14489, which is talking about the auditing system, the EPA standard, and ILO. And this standard already we have seen all the points in the HSC implementation side. We have seen all the points which is in IS 144. In order to promote a public education and public safety, equal justice for all, better information on citizenry, the rule of law, world trade, and the world peace, this legal document is hereby made available on non-commercial basis, and it is right for the humans to know and the speak and law that govern them. Which means this is document is talking about to know the basic requirements of we can call relates to safety. Okay, and EPA has a broad authority under the law to issue information collection, which means they will collect information.
Sir,
Sir,
EPA
hello?
అంటే
Sorry,
హలో సార్ సార్
EPA
పీపీఎం అంటే
EPA
ఏంటి
అంటే ఏంటి సార్?
EPA. EPA, it is
Yes,
one
sir.
second. EPA exactly, I'm not recalling. Just a second. It is European standards. I'll tell you. I'll just browse and I'll tell you.
సార్ పీపీఎం అంటే
Regulation.
సార్
Sorry,
పీపీఎం
PPM.
Parts
Where
per
it is?
millennium.
PPM means parts per million.
PPM అంటే parts per millennium.
Parts per million means అంటే ఒక మిలియన్ లో ఎంత అని, అది మిలియన్ అంటే 10^6. Okay, regulation that requires the submission of health and safety studies as known as available those who manufacture, process, or distribute the commerce specified by the chemicals, and regulations designed to gather the information from the manufacturers. These standards and this authority, it will takes the information from the manufacturers and who are especially manufacturing the chemicals. And then ILO, International Labour Organization, it is talking about the minimum basics, available, the standards which the manufacturers has to implement. It's one like policy, organizing, planning and implementing, evaluation and action for improvement. In the policy we have seen what are the content will be there, what is mean by organization, and what is mean by planning and implementing, and what is mean by evaluation. How will do evaluation? How will do safety evaluation? For example, you are having 4 plants, we have to do the safety evaluation. How we will do? How will do the safety evaluation? Safety evaluation done based on the performance of the units, number of accidents reported, number of near misses reported, number of, for example, your accidents are more and the absenteeism is more, and the more compensation you are paying from your unit, which means the safety performance is low. There is no accident and you are not paying any compensation to the workers. Due to the accident, the worker absenteeism is very less. It means your safety performance of your particular unit is high. Explain about OHS, Occupational Safety and Health Audit. Executing OHS audits. Executing, what will be the audit? If you are doing audit by the third party means as per the MSIHC rules. Manufacturing, storage and import and export of hazardous chemicals 1989. We have to conduct third party audit once in 12 months or once in a year. This OHS had to be conducted by the third party competent persons. Okay. This would include a field visit and the auditee organization of an audit team, which would carry out the following activities during the audit. Concerned officials of the auditee would accompany the team, and during visits around the plant, which means they will come and they will see all the facility with the help of the auditee. Auditee means who are going to and who are going through the audit. Auditor means who is doing the audit. Auditee means who is taking the audit, which means who is participating in the audit. There they will start with opening meeting. This is the quite common. In the opening meeting, they will tell that their scope of the audit and which are the standards they are going to discuss and which are the departments they are going to conduct the audit and the document requirements and the audit timings they will discuss. Then collecting evidence. Once the opening meeting is done, then they will go for plant tour and they will take the sample document evidence, and then they will give the evidences. I mean, once they collected the evidence, they will give the points. Then they will do the closing. Once they do the closing, they will tell that these are the points they have identified in the closing meeting. In between, they will give some recommendations as well, and they will write some observations. Observation in the sense, as per the standard, we are not meeting the requirement. They will write some observations as per the standard. If you are not at all meeting any requirement, they will give a NC, means non-conformity. For example, as per the standard, the organization should have a safety committee. In your company's safety committee, it is not there, which means it is a non-conformity as per the standard. There they will write a NC, which means you are not following the standard requirement. Then some of the recommendations, and they will give the recommendations based on the audit observations. Then they will conduct a closing meeting. In the opening meeting, who are the people attended the, as an auditee. At the same time, in a closing meeting also, they have to attend, and they will take the, the auditor will tell the major observations, major non-compliance, and he will tell about the good points first. Then they will go through observations as well as recommendations they suggest. And explain the role of a supervisor in motivating safety. What is the role of supervisor? Supervisor in motivating safety, which means towards safety, how the supervisor play a critical role. Supervisor role is motivating safety is leading from the middle. The supervisor or a middle manager are responsible for multiple priorities but have limited time in which to manage them. In addition, many people are promoted into 3 positions for their technical expertise and may not have received formal training in management and leadership. Based on the technical skills also, sometimes the people may get the promotions. Engaging supervisors or major effectively in the safety requires more than a general charge to support safety. The organization need to define specific activities that can be integrated with the supervisors or managers' other tasks and demands, which means practice safety critical behaviors, and they have to observe the critical behaviors of the people and make regular safety contacts. The supervisors and managers need to assure the basic safety, the basic safety functions beyond the usual safety meeting. They have to check for the safety requirement, how it is. They have to verify whether the safety, whatever the safety precautions they are following, whether it is, sufficient or not, whether is there any requirement, is there any improvement needed in that particular area. They have to check and remove the system barriers. In the sense, they have to remove any barriers in between the system. For example, and help align the safety objectives and the conditions on the ground. The supervisor and managers are well positioned to correct organizational conditions, and the systems contribute to exposure. Addressing equipment availability and applying exposure recognition system, which means whatever the problems you are addressing from the equipment, or they have to remove. Monitor and correct working interface conditions. The supervisors and managers need to track the leading indicators data. Leading indicator data means, what is mean by leading indicator? Leading indicator sense proactive approach. For example, we are reporting all the near misses and we are taking proper corrective action for each near miss. What will happen? Automatically, the safety performance will increase, so that there will not be a chance of accident. That will be a leading indicators like giving trainings, doing proper inspections as per the schedule, conducting audits like that. Build the culture. Finally, supervisor and the middle managers need to develop a strong working relationship with their employees. They have to make a strong relation with the employees. What relation? If weekend comes, go to the pub and having a drink party. Not like that. They have to prepare a good working culture and a good relationship so that it can leads to a good safety practice. And conflict and frustration, we have seen conflict. What is mean by conflict? This is the disagreement between the departments or disagreement between the workers and management or disagreement between the unions and the management. It is all about talking about disagreement. And we'll see frustration. The conflict refers to the same of the frustration, disagreement, or discord arising within a group or when a beliefs or actions of one or more members of the group are either resisted by unacceptable to one or more members of any other group, which means any single person or group of people, they are representing some observations, the same observations which is not, I mean, agreed by the other team of members or group of people. Then conflict can arise between members of the same group or known as a intra-group conflict, or it can be occur between members of two or more other groups and involve violence and intrapersonal discord. A physiological tension known as a intra-group conflict. Physiological tension known as a inter-group conflict. If it is in between the team, it is called as a intra. If it is relates to the physiological tension, means it is a, if it is personal, we can call it as a intergroup conflict. Okay. With this, we have seen these important questions in 101. Now we'll see mechanical material handling. Any doubts as of now?
సార్ ఇప్పుడు డిస్కస్ చేసిన మొత్తం 3 మార్క్స్ క్వశ్చన్స్ సార్.
లేదండి, ఇందులో 8 మార్క్స్ క్వశ్చన్స్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి కదా.
ఓకే ఓకే.
Okay. Now we are going to discuss about mechanical material handling, and we have discussed already about manual material handling. Once again, I'll tell what is mean by manual material handling. The manual material handling is the activity which is done by the person with his own energy without taking any help of any equipment. With his own energy, he is doing, I mean, he is carrying the material for the production purposes or other purposes of an employer. Here we see the classification of material handling, process and equipment. If you see the material handling, there are two types, manual and mechanical. Manual and mechanical. In manual, individual or team of work assesses storage and handling of specific material. It is talks about the individual, the handling of material. We see the mechanical, the lifting equipment, hoist or lifting machines like cranes, crab, winches, pulley blocks, derricks, overhead crane, and monorails, and lifting tackles like slings and rings, hooks, D-shackles, eye bolts, and all. It comes under lifting tackles, which means in mechanical lifting equipment, one is hoist and lift for man and material, and lifting machines, cranes and forklifts, we can say, winches, pulley blocks, and all. And lifting tackles means chain sling, wire rope sling, web slings, lifting belt, D-shackles, eye bolts, and all comes under lifting tackle category. I mean, say transport equipment. Transport equipment also, it comes under mechanical handling, mobile crane, and tire mounted hydra, and then industrial trucks will come, conveyors, belt conveyor, chain conveyor, screw conveyor, bucket conveyor, aerosols, etc., etc. And other will be mechanical shovels, elevators, and escalators. These all are the mechanical material handling or equipment for handling of materials. The general requirement, you'll see what is the general requirement of mechanical handling. The mechanical handling is defined as the movement of goods by mechanical force. In manual material handling, there it will be the movement of material will be human force, not mechanical force. Here it is the mechanical force for the purpose of feeding, loading, or unloading to the farm of a machine, plant, or storage place. It is for to feed a machine, or to create a production process, or to feed a plant, or to store in warehouse. That is the purpose. The main hazards of mechanical handling are contact with the moving dangerous parts. And we have seen in machine guarding the dangerous parts of machines, various kind of machines, and pulley belts, gear units, in running units, couplings. Couplings will be with the motor and the pump. There will be a coupling. And falling from the height or the floor, striking against or struck by the falling bodies. These are the different types of hazards which is related to the mechanical handling. One like trapping between nip points, and then couplings, contact with the pulley belts or gears, or contact with the falling body, or striking against the object which is in the movement of the material. You see here, what are the types in mechanical material handling we use? Electric overhead traveling crane. We know that EOT crane. Many of the companies, 99% of the companies have EOT cranes with various capacities. What they do? EOT crane, lifting, shifting, placing anywhere in the travel area. Whatever the area we have given, whatever area the gutter area is defined for the EOT crane, in that span, it will lift, shift, and place the material. Jeep crane or mobile gantry crane. And here also it is used for the lifting and shifting in the desired places. Power trucks. There are 3 or 4 wheeler truck to pick, hold, and carry transport materials useful in the making, piles, stacking, and unstacking, which is mostly useful. We can see in the pallet stacker, we call as a pallet stacker, that will have a 3 wheel. If it is 4 wheel means we can give example as a forklift truck. So that these will be used for making piles. Piles in the sense keeping, stacking one by one, one by one. You are storing the material in one over other. And 1 second, guys. And power trucks we have seen. The power trucks are 4-wheeler, 3 or 4-wheeler to hold and carry. Oh, it is repeated. The piles and the stacking the and unstacking. Conveyors. You know, many of the people we know about the conveyor. What is mean by conveyor? The conveyor will be fixed between 2 points. It will carry the material from one point to the other point. And here, the worker should not ride on the conveyors. It will be very unsafe. And lifting tackles. What are the lifting tackles we have seen? The lifting tackles will be chain sling, wire roping, hooks, and shackles. Shackles in the sense, D-shackles, eye bolts. These and all comes under lifting tackles. And lift truck. It is a power truck having the projecting fork to the pick, which means the power lift for lift truck means which is a forklift. It is having forks to pick and hold, carry and unload replace the material or container, or maybe a power driven or a battery operated, conventionally used on smooth floor, which is suitable for to operate in a smooth floor, which is having forks, which is used for replacing material from one place to other place, or unloading from the truck or container, which is maybe a fuel driven or power driven. Now we are getting battery operated forklift as well, and a diesel operator forklift as well. Payloader and power shovels, which crab pullers and hydraulic and pneumatic jacks used to dig, which means excavators, we can say, lift and transport heavy materials, which means they used to dig, lift and transport heavy materials. We use the 50-ton cranes they used in any big projects for the lifting heavy material. And well-trained operators and supervision and good maintenance are necessary. For these kind of operations, a well-trained operators, the competent operators and supervisors and good maintenance are necessary. Lifts and elevators and moves vertical, horizontal in any unilateral direction. Cable path between two fixed points. Cable path. We have a, I think, cable trolley, cable car in Vizag also. And lift the vertical and carry material or persons. The cage or cabin must travel in a fixed path, and as well as it is should be enclosed. Interlocked doors or gates if necessary. If it is a lift or elevator, it should have a gates, enclosed gates while traveling, and it should be interlocked with the doors and gates. Once the doors are closed properly, then only the lift should travel, either it in upward direction or either it will be in downward direction. Hoist. Hoists are three types: electric, pneumatic, and hand operated chain hoist. The chain hoists are three types again: pure generated and differential and a screw gear and warm drive. The pure gear type is most efficient. A push button cable must be supported by the chain to protect against strain, which means whatever a screw gear type is most efficient, push button cable must be supported by the chain to protect against strain. Instead of manual, they have to provide a push button cable so that the operator should not get strain for a operating on more working hours. And monorails, these are the one type of this thing, and should be well supported for the both ends like a hanging bridge. And the chain pulley block or hoist mounted on it should be move freely, and stopper must be provided at the both ends. It's like we can more often we can see in granite cutting shops, wherever it will goes in the both side, it will have a railing in the ground itself, above the ground. It will move from one end to other end, and useful to lift, load, and carry the horizontal between two fixed points. It is having fixed points. One end is in this side, another is in shop other end. They used to carry the loads from one end to other end. And the other one is safe working load. We know everybody knows that what is meant by SWL, safe working load. Whatever the working load which is given by the manufacturer, and it is the safe working load means maximum we can lift that much load with that equipment, and it has to be displayed in the all the lifting tools and tackles. If you see any D shackle or if you see any eye bolt which contains the safe working load 1 ton, 2 ton, or 3 ton. If you see any EOT crane, it is the manufacturer itself, he will define with a SWL. At the same time, it has to be inspected by the third party personnel, which is mean by competent person once in 12 months. And we have to mention due date as well. Okay. This is the
Sir, the
calculation.
chain blocks. సార్ వన్ డౌట్ సార్.
Ah.
ఈ చైన్ బ్లాక్స్ అనే సేఫ్ వర్క్ లోడ్ కిందకి వస్తాయి సార్.
ఏంటండి
చైన్ బ్లాక్స్ వేస్తారు కదా సార్, అంటే టెంపరీ చైన్ బ్లాక్స్ అంటాం కదా.
టెంపరీ చైన్ బ్లాక్స్ తెలియదు. మీరు దేని గురించి అంటే నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు. ఎక్కడ వాడతారు?
అంటే
అప్లికేషన్ చెప్తారా ఎక్కడ వాడతారు?
అసలు ఏదైనా మోటార్ లిఫ్టింగ్ కానీ ఏమన్నా సరే
చైన్ పుల్లీ బ్లాక్.
మనం
చైన్ పుల్లీ బ్లాక్ చైన్ పుల్లీ బ్లాక్ కూడా వర్కింగ్ లోడ్ ఉంటుంది. అంటే అది డిజైన్డ్ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. అది 5 టన్ 2 టన్ 3 టన్ 10 టన్ అట్లా ఉంటుంది.
వెయిట్ లోకి వస్తాయి అనేసి సేఫ్ వర్కింగ్ లోడ్ కి వస్తాయా లేకపోతే లిఫ్టింగ్ ట్యాక్టర్ లోకి వస్తాయా అనేసి.
సార్ ఇక్కడ సేఫ్ వర్కింగ్ లోడ్ అంటే ఏంటంటే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేనున్నాను, నా సేఫ్ వర్కింగ్ లోడ్ వచ్చేసి 50 kg. అంటే నేను మాక్సిమం నేను సేఫ్ గా 50 kg లిఫ్ట్ చేయగలను. అది కాకుండా నేను 60 kg లిఫ్ట్ చేయమని చెప్పారనుకోండి, నాకు నడుమో కాలో ఏదో పట్టేస్తుంది. అంటే ఏంటి, నేను మాక్సిమం లిఫ్ట్ చేసే వెయిట్ అనేది 50 kg. అలాగే ప్రతి ఎక్విప్మెంట్ కూడాను సేఫ్ వర్కింగ్ లోడ్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. అంటే దాని కెపాసిటీ అనమాట. అంతవరకు మనం సేఫ్ గా దాన్ని వాడుకోవచ్చు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఈ ఈఓటి క్రేన్ అనేది 10 టన్ అని ఇచ్చాడు సేఫ్ వర్కింగ్ లోడ్ ఎస్డబ్ల్యూ అనేది. అంటే ఏంటి, ఈ క్రేన్ తోటి నేను 10 టన్నులు ఆరాముగా లిఫ్ట్ చేయొచ్చు ఎప్పుడు కావాలంటే అప్పుడు. అట్లా అంటే ఇది స్పెషల్ టైప్ కాదు. ఈ చైన్ పుల్లీ బ్లాక్ ఇవన్నీ కూడాను మనకి లిఫ్టింగ్ మిషన్స్ కింద వస్తాయి.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్, లిఫ్టింగ్ మిషన్ సార్.
యా
సార్ ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ సార్.
Ah.
సార్ ఇది చైన్స్ లోని మార్కింగ్ ఫర్ క్వాలిటీ ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్ ఆన్ ఎవ్రీ 20th లింక్ ఆర్ 3 feet అపార్ట్ అని ఉంది కదా సార్. అంటే అక్కడ 20th లింక్ దగ్గర ఏదైనా ట్యాగ్ వేయాలన్నా సార్?
అది అక్కడ మార్కింగ్ ఉంటుందండి. అందులో మీకు డిఫరెంట్ లెటర్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఆల్ఫాబెట్స్ ఉంటాయి. అంటే ఏదైనా చైన్ అనేది అంటే మెటీరియల్ ఆఫ్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఎంఓసి ఉంటుంది. ఈచ్ మెటీరియల్ అంటే దాని ఎంఓసి ఏంటి, బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద ఎంఓసి the manufacturer will give some sort of rating with a letters, I mean with alphabet letters or some numbering he will give. Once you check in purchase, they may give some certificate, test certificate with the MOC of the chain link. With that we can check the the marking, the quality, the material strength of the chain link which is made. Clear?
Okay sir.
Yeah.
Clear.
This is the formula for SWL. How we can calculate the formula? The minimum breaking load quoted by the manufacturer and factor of safety. Even the factor of safety also he will give. What is the factor of safety? Until how it will be. If it is 5 times or 7 times. If it is factor of safety is 5, based on the SWL into 5 times we can lift. That is the factor of safety. That is the maximum. If you are going to the factor of safety, at any point of time it will break, or at any point of time it will damage. That is the factor of safety. It will be vary from each tool to tool. From lifting belts it is different, chain sling is different, and what do you call chain pulley block is it is different. It is different from each tackle. If you see wire dia, for example, if you have a wire rope sling, how you can calculate the SWL? You can see it is, if it is dia is 2 inch or 5 inch square into 8 kg. For example, it is 12 mm dia, you can put into 12 into 8. It is a 1 ton, 110, 111, 52 kg. For the wire ropes, you can calculate. This is the thumb rule actually. For duplex web slings, we have seen web slings. You can tell as a lifting belts. In the lifting belts, this is the standard I have taken from one of the supplier called Ferritero. This is the standard. All over the world it will be a mostly similar standard. If it is violet color, based on the belt color, we can identify the capacity of the belt, and we can identify the stitches. Each belt have a stitches on the belt which contains black color in numbers. If the belt is having 2 black color stitches, which means it is 2 ton capacity. If it is having 3 stitches, black color stitches on the belt, we consider as a 3 ton capacity. Like the way we can identify. Or in the eye area, wherever if you see here inside they will give a tag. they will give a tag with a capacity of the belt, and they will give these all symbols at what symbol it will lift, what how much capacity. If you are applying this belt in this way, how much weight it can lift. If you are applying basket method, basket hitch అంటాము. ఇప్పుడు ఈ పొజిషన్ లో మీరు లిఫ్ట్ చేస్తే ఎంత లిఫ్ట్ చేస్తున్నామని డీటెయిల్స్ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. If you see one example, for example, I'll take a red belt. It is coming with 5 ton capacity. If you are lifting in this way, which means here you are applying a load, on the other side you are putting in hook. It is a crane. It will lift aram se 5 ton. And here if you see, you put a choker. The job is here. You applied a choker. This is a big job actually. You applied a choker. అంటే మనం ఊరేసినట్టుగా అప్పుడు ఏమైంది, here it is becoming 0.8, which means 0.8 it is decreasing. Before it was 1, and after that it is reduced almost 0.2. If you see here, if you are applying a basket method, for example, the job is like this.
What
You
is
are
aim,
applying-
sir?
Sorry,
Aim means
M it is talking about M it is talking about the what do you call? One second. I'm just. One second. M is which is talking about. M it is talking about the factor of lifting capacity actually, based on the based on the application of the belt. Lifting factor we can say. Yeah.
okay.
If you see, if it is in basket hitch, it will be doubling the capacity, which means we are not supposed to lift 10 ton, but the belt have a capacity to lift up to 10 ton. If we see, it is up to again degree, the degree of application of the belt. If it is 7 to 45 or 45 to 60, here you see, here the difference is there. If the belt angle is increasing or decreasing, here the capacity of the belt also will decrease. And straight inclination, you are applying both sides. This is the load, you are applying both sides, and here and here. If it is this angle 7 to 45, it will lift 7 ton. If it is 45 to 60, it will lift only 5 kg. 5 ton. That is the way vary the capacity of the belt based on the application you are using. But even though it is 5 ton belt, based on your usage, the capacity of the belt may increase or also may decrease. This we have to train with the operators. They may think that okay sir, this is 10 ton belt, I'll use choker method. You said that this is 10 ton and you put a big poster also.